Hey guys, Moose here, taking a break from the pollen outside. The video you're about to look at is on a Caterpillar forklift, a Peugeot engine. It's kind of long, but there's some important parts about it. When I went to do this, I couldn't find anything on the web about it. So you can skip around to where you need to be, but a couple important reminders. One, if you're doing the head gasket, if your cylinder is loose at all, you're screwed. You got to rebuild the motor. So you pull that head off, and if you can wiggle any of those cylinders around, you got to replace. You got to take it out and replace the engine or rebuild it. When you rebuild the engine, the keepers for the rod bearings, they only go one way. If you put them in, turn 180 degrees, motor won't spin. So you got to really pay attention to that. Then torquing the head. I redid the head twice because I didn't follow the proper procedures, because I'm like, oh well, you don't have to do that on a Chevy or a Ford or whatever. The head procedure, which I go into real depth on this one, you got to follow it. If not, it's just going to leak water again. And then, so basically you got to retorque that head 3 times. You got to torque it when it's cold, warm it up, do the first torque, and then run it for a couple of days and do another torque. And then you've got to constantly adjust the valves until you get them just right. So I probably have 5 times adjusting the valves until I got it where I wanted. You can have the valves loose and they rattle, and or loose and they don't rattle, but you have no power. Or you can tighten them up, you have more power, but they rattle. So that Peugeot is kind of an in-between job. You just got to get it where you want it. So watch the video, skip around. It's long, it's like 40-something minutes. But follow the procedures on these little Peugeots, or you'll just be redoing it again. Take it easy. Alright guys, so this is our experiment with a Peugeot engine. Thought it was the head gasket, and it wasn't. It ended up being the cylinder sleeve, and there's this little gasket right there, a little shim gasket. And what it looks like happened when the cylinder head gasket was replaced last time, we didn't know about this because these Peugeots are kind of weird, but if you turn the engine over or rotate the engine, these sleeves are sitting in the engine, they can pop up a little bit, and apparently that's what happened, and the gunk from the water jacket got in there, and no matter what we did, we couldn't get that to reseal. And this one piston sleeve was a little wiggly. You could just wiggle it just a little bit, and the others were tight. So this is where our water was going into the crankcase through that little seal right there. So we had to pull the engine. As you can see, we have no engine. This is a Peugeot X Series XP1N industrial engine, which I use a lot of these in cars. But it was impossible for us to do these sleeves without pulling the engine, because we can't jack this thing up very high. A car, you could probably do it if you could jack it up and get underneath it, but it was easier for us to pull the engine. So that was our problem. And we got new sleeves, our shims. We were able to buy a complete gasket kit for this engine, and we got new shims right here, and that's the issue. All right, here's our little engine. We've broken it down this far already, so we're going to go ahead and rebuild the entire thing. We've got new rings coming. The pistons are good. This one's a little carbonized because the original head gasket was leaking on this piston. But not knowing, not much stuff on the internet, not knowing about the sleeves coming loose, if you look down in here, you can see there's a little shoulder for that seal to sit on. And that's what we're looking at right there. That's the one that leaked on us. But you can see we just pulled them all. We gave this thing a good power washing yesterday, so we're going to get her finished cleaned up and looking again. Now this machine does not have a rear bearing. It's a machine surface in here. This is a timing chain, oil pump underneath. I'm giving you a good look at it because there's really no good look on the internet I could find, so I'm gonna let you guys get a good look. There's the flywheel. We didn't take it off, we just bolted to it. This is our really expensive AC Delco O'Reilly's engine stand. Someone borrowed my last one and it disappeared. We didn't take out the distributor. I didn't feel there was no need. I didn't want to mess with the timing. Alright, so here's the underside. We're going to have to take, all this apart to get the pistons out to put the sleeves back in it. So pretty simple in here, normal. The weirdest thing is going to be putting that head back on. It's got a really weird sequence. You can see we've still got some milk. We've still got some cleaning to do. Get some of that milky oil out. That's our oil pump. We're going to put new seals in it. This is a forklift, so it's got a funky engine mount. And this is that, there's a seal here, a main seal in here. Like I said, this is a machine surface inside here. Here's our head. We were concerned we had a crack in it because we kept getting water, so we took it back in, and this time we had them pressure test it and go through the whole thing, do our seats. So we got it back just pristine condition. There's our rocker assembly. Got some weird lifters that fit down in the block. No big deal. It's just a little weird how they are compared to a Ford or a Chevy or even a Cat engine. This is our new mobile parts washer. Made this out of scraps laying around the shop. We're using purple power, and hey, we even got a foot pedal down here, and it comes out. Look at that. Roll it around anywhere. That's my brainstorm. If you want to do that, that's a 30-gallon bucket. That's a pump out of a handicap shower. Old foot pedal. This is an old tub off an old parts washer someone gave me for free. And this is actually a stand off an embroidery sewing machine. Some old casters. So, if anybody wants to build one of those out of scrap, just let me know and I'll give you some more instructions on it. Alright, so we got the piston out, and you can see that ring right there. And we got in there and cleaned it. I mean, there's some rough stuff here, but that's part of the casting. So that's that seat for the seal. And then this is the new seal. And what we're thinking is there's a little tab on the top there, right there. And some of the seals have 3 tabs. Like that one has 3 tabs, 2 tabs. We're fixing to mic them. I think that's just going to be your thickness, different thicknesses. So they send a whole world of shims. They call them shims instead of seals. So we're going to figure that out here in a minute. I'll get back with you. Alright guys, so we got the engine back in, we assembled it on the stand, but we did not torque the head bolts down. We just gave them 10 pounds of torque, starting from the center, working our way out, just to have the heads attached. So now we're going to start the torquing sequence. It's kind of weird. What we have is we're going to start here, and we've numbered this 1, and then we're going to, this is the bolts, not the valves or the cylinders. So this is 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're basically doing a radial pattern working our way out. And the book calls for tighten the bolts in numbered sequence to 37 foot-pounds plus or minus 4 pounds. And that's the first stage. Then we'll go from there. Alright, we're going to do the actual tightening with our resident certified Navy mechanic, Sam. Go Navy. He's shaking his head. Alright, so we're starting on number 1, and we are going to do 37 foot-pounds plus or minus 4 pounds. The trick is getting in there. Have to go extension. So we had to get an extension. Didn't want to, but we had no choice. So we're going to torque it. Ooh, wait a minute. My camera. Okay. Four. Five. Six. 7. 8. 9. 10. 'Now it says to loosen all the bolts in number sequence again. So starting back at 1, we're going to loosen the bolts to loose. Alright, so starting back at 1, we're just loosening it all the way. Alright, that one's loose. Now we go to 2. Three. 4. 5. I think Sam's bar is too long. 6. 7. 8. 9. And 10. Now, the next step, it says to tighten all the bolts again in numbered sequence to a torque of 15 foot-pounds plus or minus 4 pounds. Now, since we're going to be using extension, we're going to go 19 pounds. Starting again with number 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. And the last one's 10. Now it says, then tighten each bolt again in numbered sequence an additional 180 degrees, or half a complete turn, using a specialized degree wheel, which we have. This is a totally specialized degree wheel. If you can't find one, we can certainly mail you one. So all I did is cut a piece of cardboard, 180 degrees, and we're going to do the half turns, starting again with number 1. You're going to need a longer breaker bar than that, dude. Alright, so Sam had to fumble around and find the right breaker bar. Alright, we're going to do 180 degrees. So I'm going to hold this here. It's, you need 6 hands. And he's going to swing it around 180 degrees. Right there. Alright, that's the first one. Now we come over to 2. Pull all the way around, Sam. There you go. We lined up?
About as good as I think.
Okay. Alright, so now we go to 3, which is right here. Where you want to go on your lineup? Come all the way over here, so you go swing. You gotta kind of pre-plan your swing on this thing. Oh, hit the camera. Alright, camera moved. Alright. Alright, now we're on 4. Alright, now we're on 5. Six. 7. Let's see, what do you want to do about 45 here? back farther. Alright, then we're going to come over here back to 9. Oh, we're starting there.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go 290s.
Well, that's a little bit past 90.
Okay, well then do a little less than 90 because you're not going to swing all the way around. Alright, then we do, no, down there. 290s. We're doing 290s because we don't have enough swing room to do a full 180. Alright, that's all 10. Save that high dollar tool because we'll need it again. Alright. Now it goes into, we need to tighten the rocker nuts in sequence to a torque of 11 foot-pounds. So we're going to pause while we figure out the rocker nut sequence. Alright, so we're doing B to 14 pounds. Then C. Then D. Then the last one is E as in Edward. Now, once that's done, it says we need to run the engine at 2,000 RPM and no load for 15 minutes. Then we get to tighten again. But the problem is, we have to, before we even crank the engine, we have to adjust the valve clearances. So they left that out of the instructions because the way it is now, it ain't going to crank. Or if it does, you'll be slapping your valves and rods. So we're going to take a break and come back and tighten or adjust the valve clearances first before we crank it. Alright, so before we start spinning the engine, we're going to put some oil in it because we're going to have to start turning it to adjust the valves. So Sam's going to put oil in it. Now, here is the valve specification tightening. Okay, that's the, I found this online. The book is a little more confusing, but this guy really figured it out. Alright, so number one cylinder is over here on the gearbox side on Peugeots. Not like Fords or anything else, it's normal. It's on this side. So Sam, go ahead and put the oil in there, Sam. So we're going to start with 4 quarts, and then we're going to spin the engine by hand to settle everything in, and then start the adjustment process starting at cylinder 1. It says turn the engine until the exhaust valve of cylinder 1 is fully open or fully down, and then adjust cylinder 3 inlet and cylinder 4 exhaust. So we're going to go through this method here and show it to you. Alright, so we got the motor spun around. So number 1 cylinder, the exhaust valve is fully open, and on as far as cylinder order goes, the number 1 cylinder is closest to the transmission, opposite of Fords and everything else. So we got number 1 open, and it says when this is fully open on the exhaust side, we're supposed to adjust number 3 cylinder intake at 20 thousandths. So with the assistance of Sam, he's going to see what it measures. And it measures absolutely 0. So we're going to do some loosening and tightening and Because remember, we redid the whole head, so everything's totally jacked.
Yeah, they're closer over there.
And we're using fine Chinese-made tools. Oh God, they over-torqued this someone over-torqued this. Well, come loose, honey, this cheater. So let's get you got 11 ratchet with a breaker on it. Alright, so gonna loosen that up. I'll tighten until you tell me we're good.
That's good.
Good. Now, the book says do 11 foot-pounds. Well, we gotta have a crow's foot, so we're just kind of doing a hand tight there. We're gonna come back to it. All right, so now it says do 4 exhaust at 40. So, I know that ain't 40, so I'm gonna go ahead and loosen that bad boy up. Guess it'd be helpful to have 2 feeler gauges, but I don't think Sam thought that far ahead. Our valves may be so tight, these rockers may be so tight, that may be tightening the engine too. Because these two are so dang tight you couldn't even move them. Alright, so we got it loose, and Sam, if he can get his Navy math right, is going to pull out a 40. Now our primary assistant Sam has 40 on the feeler gauges. He's going to stick her in there and see what she does. Tighten it a little bit and then I'll back it off. Good.
Yeah, that's good.
Alright, so let's just give that a snug up. Double check it didn't move. Good.
Fine.
Alright, so now we got to rotate the engine around to the exhaust valve on cylinder 3 is fully down. So that's exhaust valve on cylinder 3 has to be down. That's that one right there. Lori, cut out this part or something. Watch your fingers, Sam.
Got it.
Oops, it's going down, Sam.
Stop moving, so.
And through the magic of editing, we have exhaust cylinder 3 open, which means it's pressed all the way down, so it's open. And we are going to adjust cylinder 4 inlet and cylinder 2 exhaust. So cylinder 4 inlet's right here. We're going to do 20 thousandths right there. What's he measure right now, Sam? Nothing?
0.
0. How do you say that in German? 9?
No, that would be no.
That's no. Okay. Well. This job requires 6 hands.
Now they say the tighter the better. So we're going right on the money now, and then once she's run a little bit, we're going to redo these valves probably 3 more times. We're going to do it after the initial warm-up and retorque. Then we'll do the valves again. And then we'll do the valves again after a few hours of running. All right, so we're going to do cylinder 2 exhaust, which is right here, and we're going running 40 thousandths on it. Let me get loose. Get my old man face on there. Call me good, or
You get to the dead center. Yeah, you're good right there.
Alright, so now we're going to rotate the engine so cylinder 4 exhaust is fully down. Double check that, Sam. Is that 40?
Try to push it down.
Alright, we're on the money there. Alright, so we're going to rotate the engine again. Yeah, I think these being so tight is one of our problems.
It could possibly it as well, yes.
Yeah, so you're watching for that one to be all the way down.
Yes, sir.
Either feels easier or it's my imagination. Watch your head now, you got too far over.
Whoa. It's coming back up already.
Sam didn't pay attention.
You just barely started turning it. Usually it takes good 4, 5, 6 pulls before it gets down all the way.
Not on square.
I'm going to pay attention to a few things.
It's actually turning a little easier. Oh, there it goes, starting to go down.
Okay. It should be good. It stopped moving.
All right, here we go. We've got number 4 cylinder exhaust fully open. And it tells us to adjust cylinder 2 intake to 20 thousandths. So what's it measure now?
0.
Absolutely nothing. So let's see if we can't crack her open. Got my redneck cheater bar here. Now what I'm doing is I'm tightening down, loosen it up until he can just barely pull it out. Alright, about there. Alright, now we need to do number 1 exhaust, which is here, and we're going 40 thousandths. I assume we're 0.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, don't stab yourself. Alright, now we're going to rotate her again. So cylinder 2's exhaust is fully open. Hopefully it's going to spin easier now. Let's top your hand. We're not square. It's not square.
You're good.
Alright, so now that 2 is fully open, we're going to adjust cylinder 1 intake to 20 thousandths. Crack that open. Alright, check it again. I think I moved it. Let's see if make sure I didn't move it. Alright, now we go to cylinder 3 exhaust, 40 thousandths right here. Alright, and that completes the valve cycle. Alright guys, so we got her back together. We ran her. The instructions said to run it at 2,000 RPM for 15 minutes. And then once it got cool enough to handle, we're supposed to tighten each head bolt again in numbered sequence an additional 30 degrees. So we gotta go 30 degrees in numbered sequence, and we got our handy dandy fancy wheel here again. And look, Sam didn't make the hole big enough. Alright, so we gotta go in sequence again, so we're gonna start with 1. So you just put it on the nut there, Sam, and we'll line up our wheel and turn her 30 degrees. There we go. Now we come to 2. Put her on there. Okay, you're good. Alright, so that was 1, 2. We're going to 3 over here. Is that right? 1, 2. No, this is 3. That's 3. Pretty sure. Let me line this up, Sam. Get it lined up. Alright. Alright. 4's up here. Alright. Okay. 5's gonna be here. Push that. On it. Go. 6. Go. Here. Alright, right there. This one right here in the corner. Alright. Come over here. Alright. Alright, last one's over here. Alright, so now we're going to put her back together and fire her up.